Hey there, fellow travelers. Today I'm going to be telling you about 12 of my favorite places to visit in San Antonio with kids. We're going to talk about lots of them, including the Alamo, SeaWorld, Aquatica, the Riverwalk, the Museum, and so much more. So stick around as I tell you more about some of the places we frequented in our time in San Antonio and places I think that are worthwhile for you to check out as well. Okay, the first place I think you should check out in San Antonio with kids is the Museum. The Museum is San Antonio's children's museum. It's pretty big and it has indoor and outdoor play spaces. We also enjoyed visiting here because it's air conditioned inside and there's some water play spaces outside. It is really hot in San Antonio in summer, so it's a great spot if you don't want to be outside and you're there on a hot day. There's so many learning activities, and they do have some exhibits that change regularly as well. One thing I think the Museum does well is it has exhibits geared towards older children in addition to younger children. So there are some technology-based exhibits and reading ones. So it really appeals to a lot of different ages, not just early childhood. I'm going to be making a full video tour of the Museum soon, so like and subscribe to the channel so you're sure to see it, and thanks for supporting the channel. Okay, the next place I think you need to explore is the Japanese Tea Garden. Yes, I realize that sign said Chinese Tea Garden, but it is called the Japanese Tea Garden, and it is gorgeous. It's a park that you can walk around. It's free to go to. Parking's free there as well, but it can be a little tricky to find parking. There's also a small cafe if you want to get some Japanese drinks like the boba tea or a few snacks. It's really a beautiful place just to explore, and it's quite unique. Okay, nearby the Japanese Tea Garden is the San Antonio Zoo Train Depot, and you can ride this cute little train around. It's actually a few miles long of a train ride, and you really get to see some beautiful views of the park, and it's just a great ride. We enjoyed it. You don't have to go to the zoo to take the train ride. All right, my fourth recommendation is a visit to SeaWorld San Antonio. Of course, you can't go to SeaWorld, to San Antonio without going to SeaWorld if you have little kids. They have a lot of the major animals. They have orcas. They have Pacific white-sided dolphins, which is what you're seeing here. They have bottlenose dolphins. They have penguins, the sea lion show, and the otter. There's an otter in the sea lion show. They also have a lot of roller coasters and some kid rides themed in Sesame Land. I made a whole video with my 17 tips for visiting SeaWorld San Antonio. So I would highly recommend you check out that video if you're planning a trip. I'll link it at the end of this video. If you go to SeaWorld San Antonio, please, please, please just go watch the sea lions. They have one sea lion in there who literally sounds like a donkey every time he makes a sound. He's blind, so he's easy to pick out. We personally named him Donks. That's not his real name. I did learn his real name from a trainer, but I don't remember what it was. Across the way from SeaWorld San Antonio is Aquatica. They're actually in the same place, two different directions. I've also made a video on Aquatica. If you wait till the end of the video, I'll link it for you. But Aquatica is a great spot to visit. It's a water park. It does have the stingrays that you see Eliana playing with here. It also has some splash areas for little kids along with bigger water rides for older kids. Okay, I also wanted to mention that there are a few other spots that are pretty popular with kids. I didn't visit them, but I wanted to throw them out there in case you want to look into them. So there's Six Flags Fiesta. And there's also a Legoland Discovery Center. Like I said, we didn't go to either of those with my daughter's age, but they're good options, especially for older kids or kids that are into Legos. Okay, the next place I think you should visit with kids when in San Antonio is the San Antonio Riverwalk. The San Antonio Riverwalk is made up of a natural river along with an extension that's been added to it. You can take a riverboat cruise while you're there and see the sights and get all the history and take in beautiful views. I would recommend taking the riverboat cruise at nighttime. it just looks really cool seeing everything lit up as you go down. We got lucky and saw this show going on our way by. On the opposite side, we could see the audience looking on at the show. So it's just a really unique atmosphere. Along the Riverwalk are stores and restaurants, lots of restaurants. I don't have a favorite restaurant to recommend to you there. Personally, I think a lot of them are really overpriced on the Riverwalk. But it is nice to eat outside near the Riverwalk, and we definitely did it more than once. To get to the Riverwalk, you will go downstairs, so don't expect to see the river when you're first driving through San Antonio. It's actually below the street level. Okay, the next place I would visit is the Alamo. You just can't have a visit to San Antonio without going to the Alamo. It is right in downtown San Antonio. They do sometimes run reenactments. You can learn all of the history, and honestly, it really helps you understand so much of the Texas spirit and the culture of being in Texas. We really enjoyed walking around. You do usually have to make reservations. Okay, another place I think you should walk around and explore is Historic Market Square. This is actually modeled after Mexico, and it very much reminds you of what I would imagine it would be like walking through part of a Mexican city. They have many Mexican restaurants in this area, and I found them to be a lot more interesting than the ones that are down near the Riverwalk. They do get incredibly busy. The Mexican restaurant we ate at was called Mia Tierra Bakery and Cafe. The bakery up front looks especially delicious. Okay, the next place I recommend visiting with kids is Pearl. Pearl was a brewery originally. That was its history, but now it's like this revitalized area. There's it's a community, but they have restaurants and stores throughout. It has a very unique vibe, and it's actually a lot of fun just to explore it, to walk around, grab a bite to eat, taste some of the cuisine, especially if you're kind of getting sick of the Mexican scene of food. There's a lot of different unique options here. We loved that there was like nice green spaces outdoors to enjoy. There were spots for lawn games, and on busy weekends, music sometimes is playing. So it's just a nice little gathering spot to take a break and grab a bite to eat. So I want to give a plug to another place, which is the Tower of Americas, which is basically a giant tower that you can go up and observe San Antonio from. I don't have any footage of it because we didn't go up in it on our most recent trip there. I have been up in it before because this wasn't my first time in San Antonio, but I don't have that footage to share with you. But you should check it out. All right, the next place you can check out with kids is the San Antonio Zoo. It's a pretty good-sized zoo. It also has Kiddie Park, which has like amusement-style rides for little kids. If your kids are smaller, they might enjoy that as well. I also wanted to mention there's quite a few great day trips you can take outside of the San Antonio area that are just an hour to 2 hours away. This particular one is of us tubing. There is some fun river tubing nearby. I'll be making another video in the future about some of the day trips you can take, so subscribe to the channel so you're sure to see that video when it comes out.